the effect that, yes, Corzine did know, contrary to his denials, about this misuse of customer funds, which are supposed to be kept strictly segregated from the firm's accounts.
You knew about the loans from customer segregated accounts. This was the CFO of MF Global's North American operations stated in a conference call that Mr. Corzine knows about the loan.
Mr. Chairman, as I said very clearly in my opening remarks, I did not in any way know about the use of customer funds on any loan or transfer.
Another aspect of this hearing is that lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are eager to seize on the MF Global case as evidence of either A, why more regulation is urgently needed to prevent similar cases in the future, or B, why the suffocating regulations now in place show they offer no real safeguard for this kind of catastrophe.
I would remind you that we had Sarbanes-Oxley and Dodd-Frank in place, and this event actually happened anyway.
The last I heard, MF Global was subject to 20 different regulators. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm not afraid of regulation, but that can't possibly work. It does nothing but allow forum shopping. It does nothing but allow somebody to point fingers at someone else. Well, it wasn't my job, it was their job. We have a significant degree of self-regulation in this particular case. I think it's a fair question of whether self-regulation is still applicable in today's world. It was one thing in the 1880s, it's another thing today.
A top regulator in this case says they now know where this $1.2 billion in missing funds went. Whether they ever get their hands on it, another question. Megan.
James Rosen, thank you. Well, President Obama's interview with a Virginia TV station is getting a lot of attention today. Listen to Mr. Obama's response when he was pressed about whether he is responsible for the bad economy and the millions of Americans out of work.
How have we become a country where so many members of the middle class go to bed at night wondering if they're going to be able to keep their homes and put food on the table and send their kids to college? And do you take any personal responsibility for your administration creating that condition?
Well, we didn't create the condition. We haven't solved it fully yet because it was 3 decades in the making. I mean, if you look at the trend lines, essentially what's happened is that because of automation, because of globalization, you had a lot of manufacturing move out of the United States.
Joining me now for a fair and balanced debate, Simon Rosenberg, director of the New Democrat Network, and Rich Lowry, editor of the National Review. All right, guys, so the president was saying, look, we didn't create it, and then he went on to say that we haven't completely solved it yet. But he says, look at the trend lines. It wasn't us. Rich, fair?
Well, I mean, if you're in a position to really take credit for a good economy, all these interviews would be about taking credit. Instead, the entirety of his communications effort lately has been about shifting the blame and blaming others, blaming Republicans, even though they're basically powerless during his first 2 years and he got everything he wanted, more or less, blaming the rich, even though they have nothing to do with the struggles of the middle or in the lower end. And now he's blaming these huge historical forces which he has no control over. So, you know, he's supposedly modeling himself on Harry Truman in 1948, but he certainly doesn't have that "the buck stops here" sign on his desk.
Simon, is it fair to, you know, obviously, I mean, Ron Paul was just on here moments ago. He's a Republican presidential candidate. He was saying it's not all about Obama. You know, some of these conditions were created long before President Obama. And that may be true, but is it fair for the president, is it good for the president to not take any responsibility for the economic conditions we're in now, to sort of say it's all thanks to the larger picture?
Well, I think what he said is true. I think that the conditions of the current economy, the financial meltdown, slowness in wages and income in the last decade, you know, the recession itself, all of that stuff happened before he became president. And then what he said, Megan, this is important, is that, but we haven't done enough. He said it's fair criticism to say that the stuff we've done hasn't made the economy strong enough, because certainly he's taken responsibility. Look at all the things they've done, right? The auto bailout, the stimulus plan, FTAs with 3 countries. I mean, this has been an incredibly vigorous administration. They've thrown a lot of stuff against the wall. And what he said, candidly, is that all that we've done, which has been significant, still isn't enough, and there's more to do. And I think that's a fair assessment of his presidency.
Well, his answer is always...
Rich, go ahead,
His
Rich.
answer is always more spending and more debt. And look, there have been trends over the last 30 years hurting the middle class. But $800 billion in stimulus funding in 2009 was not going to make a difference to that. Another $400 or $500 billion in stimulus spending now is not going to make a difference for that. You need to get the big things right. You need leadership on tax reform, entitlement reform, getting the cost of higher ed and health care down, talking about the bourgeois virtues that have eroded in this country, discipline and hard work. He will do none of that. He just wants to blame the rich, spend more money, get the debt up, and subsidize ridiculous green energy projects. That's basically the entirety of his economic program.
You know, Simon, it's an interesting message of, you know, I didn't create it. I'm trying to solve it, but I didn't create it. But for him to, 3 years in office, to still be saying that I didn't create it, I inherited it, do you think that grows tiresome for some voters?
No, because I think it's clear, if the question is, has the president taken responsibility for what's gone on, the obvious answer is yes. Look at all that he's done to try to change the fundamental conditions. Some of it has worked pretty well, right? The auto industry today is very healthy. We have a better healthcare system, a better financial system than we had before, but it's still not good enough. And I think that's what this election in 2012 is going to be about, is not what happened, but who's got a better plan now to
Simon,
take where things are today and make them better in the future.
He's not taking responsibility. This is all about shifting responsibility. If you're taking responsibility, he would say, yes, I did a lot of stuff, as you're rightly pointing out, Simon. I had 2 years with this massive liberal agenda that I passed through, and judge me on my results. He won't say that because he knows what the verdict would be.
I'll give you the last word, Simon, quickly.
I don't think that's what he said. I think it's clear that he understands, because he said this many times in other forums, that he will be judged by, if the economy is doing badly next year, he won't get reelected. If it's doing well, he will.
He's not
and if
saying
it's in the
that
middle,
anymore.
We're going to have an amazing race.
He said that a year or two ago. He's not saying it anymore, very tellingly.
Rich, Simon was getting the last word, not you.
Sorry, Simon, say something else.
This is what they do. They just grab
Megan,
it.
I love the set. I love the set, Megan.
Thank you very much. It's very Christmassy. 10 days before Christmas. Happy holidays to all of you. See ya.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Well, coming up next, a powerful group of atheists versus this little town in Pittman, New Jersey. As the Garden Staters struggle to keep Christ in Christmas, Kelly's Court when we come back.
For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinet. Yes, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. It has.
They're stealing American jobs. Internet criminals using illegal foreign websites. They traffic in phony medications, counterfeit goods, and unsafe products. Stolen movies, TV shows, and music. They're stealing American ideas and innovation, and hundreds of thousands of American jobs. But we can stop them. Tell Congress to stop online piracy.
Okay, team. After age 40, we can start losing muscle. 8% every 10 years. Wow. But you can help fight muscle loss with exercise and ensure muscle health. I've got Revigor.
What's Revigor?
It's the amino acid metabolite HMB to help rebuild muscle and strength naturally lost over time.
Ensure Muscle Health has Revigor and protein to help protect, preserve, and promote muscle health.
Keeps you from getting soft. Ensure nutrition in charge.
1939. My parents ran across an ad for a hot dog cart. My mother said, well, maybe we ought to buy this hot dog cart and set it up someplace. So my parents went to Bank of America. They met with the branch manager and they said, look, we got this little hot dog cart and it's on a really good corner. Let's see if we can buy the property. And the branch manager said, all right, I will take a chance with the two of you. And we've been loyal to Bank of America for the last 71 years.
Mesothelioma is a devastating diagnosis, affecting entire families just like yours. How will you cover your medical bills and family obligations? We have helpful news. U.S. compensation trust funds have initial funding of $30 billion to financially help mesothelioma victims. Why spend your hard-earned savings fighting this terrible disease? Call the Johnson Law Group today for a free case evaluation. You'll be glad you did.
Call now, 800-222-2929.
I'm Patrick Cox, founder of TaxMasters. There's nothing like a tax problem to ruin your holidays. If the IRS is sending threatening letters, garnishing your wages, calling about years of unfiled tax returns, or you're being audited, we can help. Call today and put TaxMasters on your side. Our former IRS agents and tax professionals help many good people just like you every day. Don't wait. Call TaxMasters today and enjoy the holidays this year. Happy holidays from TaxMasters.
TaxMasters, we solve your tax problems. Call 800-581-0458.
I've been riding since I was 17, flat out my whole life. Ran into a pretty serious medical issue. I was prescribed one drug one place, another somewhere else. Turns out if I'd have taken both drugs together, I'd have been in real trouble. But United Healthcare spotted the danger and warned my pharmacist in time. We only get one shot, and I want to leave this life exhausted.
We're more than 78,000 people looking out for 70 million Americans. That's health in numbers. United Healthcare.
Kelly's Court is back in session. On the docket today, Keeping Christ in Christmas on Main Street, USA. Well, technically it's Broadway. Pittman, New Jersey, the local Knights of Columbus, sponsoring this sign over Broadway like they have every December for 60 years. Reminding residents the holiday is about more than iPhones and eggnog. But the banner was put up by the town fire department across a public street and hangs from public lampposts. And apparently some folks think that blurs the line between church and state. So they complained to a national atheist organization who then demanded that the town take down the banner, and that winds them in today's Kelly's Court. Welcome, gentlemen. Joining me now, defense attorney and former prosecutor Mark Eiglarz and defense attorney David Wall. All right, so the atheist group says this is once again the state, the government stepping in where it doesn't belong. They say, go ahead and hang your banner, celebrate Christ in Christmas, but don't get city officials involved in it. Don't hang it on the city lamppost and don't use the local firefighters. Do they have a point, Mark?
I think they do. And again, to minimize the hate mail, understand these are my fake clients, and I don't necessarily personally feel this way. I'm going to make a legal argument, okay?
Any good lawyer can argue any side of any case.
That is correct. First, is this a religious message? Well, they're not looking to change the holiday's name and make it Muss. They're talking about Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ clearly is a religious symbol, and this is a religious message. The second part of the analysis is the government promoting it? Well, if it was affixed to a private building solely, and it wasn't over a public street, and it wasn't hung by the firemen, and it wasn't affixed also utilizing the lamppost paid for by taxpayers' dollars, I'd say they'd have a stronger argument. But it is. And if you're not going to take it down, you better give equal access to the atheists to put up their signs condemning religion and other theories that they're advancing.
Oh, boy, they're not going to have any room on those lampposts soon, David.
I got to tell you, Megan, you know something? This is a tough time of the year for atheists. While we're around friends and family in good cheer, they walk around looking for things to complain about. Now, this is a great example of the confusion between establishment of the religion, which is prohibited by the Constitution, and facilitating freedom of religion or being tolerant of religion. And that's precisely what Pittman is doing here. They're not saying the atheists can't hang their own holiday sign, which presumably would be blank. They're just saying, look, everybody can do it, and it has to be. And the fire department has to use their truck to put it up because it's 30, 40 feet in the air, and they have to hang on the light posts because there's nothing else to hang them on. But come on, let's give it a break here. This is perfectly acceptable. It's not promoting or establishing religion. Judgment for city.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing, Mark. But although the atheists would say, David, you're wrong. They would say, because they say that a local resident complained. He said, yeah, I have to drive down that street every day. I see the sign, and I feel like an outsider because of it. I mean, it's possible, Mark. It's possible.
Yeah, this isn't about whether this is a popular sign. Listen, 80% of the country is made up of people who probably would endorse this sign and that religion, but that's not the issue.
And then those people are going to feel uncomfortable once it gets taken down. Does that matter?
Apparently it doesn't. I mean, again, we're going by this. We're going by the Supreme Court of the land, and they say, in my opinion, that stuff like this is endorsing a religion, and that's a no-no, apparently.
Really? Stuff like this? Because, David, we had the Ten Commandments case that went up to the U.S. Supreme Court. There was a display of the Ten Commandments on public grounds, on a city courthouse grounds, and they upheld that.
Well, you know, and in the Supreme Court itself, inside the Ten Commandments is stated there. There's on our money, in faith in God, there's religious symbols on there. I mean, there's religious statements, Megan. There are certain exceptions that are made because they simply don't amount to endorsements, and that's the key thing. In this particular instance, it was the Knights of Columbus who sponsored it. I don't think it said that on the particular sign, but it also does not say that the city of Pittman, endorse this religious sign.
No, but that's But David, that's clearly
there's no indication.
But here, let me ask you this. But Mark, let me ask you this. What could a city like Pittman do if it wanted to avoid any of these challenges, but it still wanted to display that banner in a prominent way?
affix it exclusively to a private building, have nothing to do with it if you're the government. Otherwise, the atheists themselves, if they're going to keep the banner up and you're going to make this a zoning issue, then what they want is a banner that's going to say, and these aren't my words, again, minimize the hate mail, their words are, religion is a myth, angels, God, heaven, and hell do not exist. They want to have those things on their sign. And you know what? What's good for the goose?
That's
So
nice.
let 'em
You
put
see
it
little
up, for
children
crying out loud.
going down the street just in time for Christmas, 10 days before Christmas, reading "Keep the Christ in Christmas" and then reading your banner, Mark. Although I have to say, you know, it may be
my
it may
banner.
make the
Hold
point
on.
a little bit better
My
than David's
banner.
blank
Objection.
banner.
Not my banner.
That is
their
your
banner.
Your
Not mine.
hypothetical
Not
banner.
mine.
Absolutely.
I think you may have the
Mine
language
would be
exactly
keep-
right. I think that is their wording.
Mine would be keep the Han and Hanukkah.
He's
But
right.
again, it's not my
He's right.
banner.
That's
Yeah.
the sad thing about it. Have some holiday cheer. Be,
All right,
be
guys.
tolerant, Eiglarz.
Gotta
Come on.
run. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. See ya. We're just hours away right now from tonight's big Republican presidential debate. It is the last time these candidates are going to face off before the Iowa caucuses. You want to talk stakes? We have the very latest.
All energy development comes with some risk, but proven technologies allow natural gas